Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Va'era, the second Torah portion in the book of Exodus, Sefer Shemot, beginning in chapter 6 and verse 2. Last week's portion of Parashat Shemot ended on a difficult note. Since Moshe and Aaron came to Pharaoh with the word of Hashem, things were only getting worse for the children of Israel. The Israelites complained to Moshe and Aaron about this, and Moshe said to Hashem, "Why have you done evil to this people? Why have you sent me? From the time I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he did evil to this people, but you did not rescue your people." Then Hashem said to Moshe, "Now you will see what I shall do to Pharaoh, for through a strong hand will he send them out, and with a strong hand will he drive them from his land." It's at this point that our portion opens, focusing on the issue of God's name. Rashi points out that this parsha is a direct continuation to the end of last week's Torah portion, that God's statement to Moshe is the answer somehow to the questions he posed. Moshe asked, "Why have you harmed this people?" And God answered, "I am Hashem. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai, but with my name Hashem, I did not make myself known to them." This verse is perplexing. Actually, in the Torah's narrative, we do find this name of Hashem used in speaking with the patriarchs, but yet he did not make himself known to them with this name. What does this mean? In what way did God limit knowledge of himself from the forefathers with whom he was so close? What aspect of his identity did he not share with them? What is the significance and differences between the name El Shaddai and the name of Hashem? And why is this differentiation relevant now? These are some of the questions that we would like to explore today. So open up your heart. Honestly, how can we even think that we can talk about God? Is it not impertinent to think that we can even speak about him? What do we even know about him? We know that he is the creator. We know that he is endless. We know that he is uniquely one. So how do we relate to this endless, perfect oneness? Torah teaches us that we can relate to him through his names. He makes himself known to his creation and relates to his creation through various attributes. And Torah employs various names of God which convey these attributes. So it really is all about God's name. So this is how our portion opens. God tells Moshe that in the past, he revealed himself to the forefathers as El Shaddai. What is this identity of Shaddai all about? So the root of the word Shaddai is the Hebrew word dai, meaning enough. The Talmud teaches that the name Shaddai is related to God's act of creation. Our sages taught, when the Holy One, blessed be he, created the world, it kept expanding, extending outwards like two balls of thread, until the Holy One, blessed be he, held it in check, and he said to it, "Enough," in Hebrew, dai, meaning enough, stop, until here, expand no more. And so the world was set in its place. Thus the name Shaddai conveys the idea, he who said to his world, "Enough, until here and no further." This name signals God's control over the natural world. It's about limitations. He set limits and boundaries to the framework of creation, the borders of heaven and earth, like the shore of the sea. These are the borders of physical reality, limiting chaos and bringing harmony to existence through the specific parameters of the laws of nature, overseeing existence in what to us appears to be a concealed, indirect manner. Now, in the light of our understanding the meaning of this word, Shaddai, we can appreciate and comprehend how the forefathers' experience of God's presence was through his identity as El Shaddai, meaning they perceived God as orchestrated miracles within the natural order. These righteous men lived lives of profound faith, relying on promises which they did not yet see fulfilled. For them, in a sense, El Shaddai was the God of promises. For example, in his great faith, Abraham endured decades of childlessness, despite God's promise to him that he would have descendants as numerous as the stars. God's promise to Abraham of offspring, despite his old age, was miraculous, but yet it did not disrupt the natural fabric of existence. It was a miracle that was hidden within the workings of reality. Yitzchak's birth remained within a natural context. Sarah physically bore him despite her old age. Yitzchak himself embodied faith in continuity, living a life that reflected quiet trust in God's control. Similarly, Yaakov's life, though marked by divine intervention, unfolded within the struggles of exile and years of hardship. He, too, relied on God's providence and protection without seeing the full realization of redemption in his time. In short, the forefathers' deeply personal relationship with God was framed within the lens of El Shaddai, who sustains and controls within limits. Their faith was in a hidden God, one who operates within nature and whose promises extend into an uncertain future. For God's covenant with the forefathers included promises of redemption and the gift of the land of Israel, and despite the deferment of these promises, the forefathers continued to demonstrate unwavering trust in a God who sets the stage for redemption but does not yet fully deliver it. They knew God as the one who makes promises, El Shaddai. But now, as our portion begins to unfold, the Israelites would know God as the one who fulfills those promises, breaking through natural boundaries. So open up your heart in the deepest way. This shift from the identity of El Shaddai to that of Hashem signifies a profound transition in God's relationship with all humanity, shifting from promise to fulfillment, from hiddenness to revelation, and from faith to knowledge. The forefathers lived with the promises of redemption, but now the time for these promises to be fulfilled and realized through supernatural public miracles had finally arrived. And this would be a new revelation. Through the plagues, each one defying the laws of nature and revealing Hashem's sovereignty, and through the Exodus, with the splitting of the sea as the ultimate miracle beyond nature's borders, and through the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, wherein God literally made his presence manifest. Through these events, God is about to fulfill his covenant in a way that will shatter the boundaries of nature and redefine history. The Israelites would now be experiencing God's direct intervention in history as Hashem, the one who suspends and transcends the natural order. So while El Shaddai reflects God's concealed providence, the name Hashem reveals his presence in a way that leaves no doubt about his power and sovereignty. The events of the Exodus are open displays of divine mastery over all existence. And again, the forefathers' relationship with God was rooted in faith, believing in promises that would only be fulfilled in the distant future. The generation of the Exodus, however, would come to know God directly. As God declares in this very Parashat, "You shall know that I am Hashem your God." Knowledge replaces faith when God's actions become undeniable and his presence unambiguously manifest. The forefathers' faith laid the groundwork for this moment, preparing humanity to recognize and respond to a God who transcends nature. God had been preparing creation for this revelation of the true meaning of his name from the very beginning of history. But until now, the world was not spiritually prepared for the full revelation of godliness. The promise of redemption had not yet been fulfilled. But now he's about to deliver on that promise, and history and Israel and all of humanity are all about to change irrevocably. The generation of the Exodus would witness a new dimension of God's essence as Hashem. The plagues in the Exodus were not just for Israel. They're meant to demonstrate to the entire world that God is the creator and master of all. As he states repeatedly throughout the Exodus narrative, so that you will know that I am Hashem. This universal revelation was not merely about physical redemption, but about knowing God's true nature. As the holy Sefat Emet teaches, the forefathers' experience of El Shaddai reflected their role in building the spiritual foundation of the world. Moshe's generation, however, was tasked with revealing God's ultimate purpose, to show that there are no true boundaries in this world to his presence. So the transition from El Shaddai to Hashem occurs at this pivotal moment in the Torah's narrative, as our portion opens, as the Israelites are on the brink of redemption and the process of their deliverance is beginning. Their redemption requires God to intervene in the natural order in unprecedented ways, revealing his sovereignty and his sovereignty both over nature and history. Thus the name change, this name change, it's far more than a semantic difference. God is revealing himself to Moshe as Hashem, which signifies his eternal, transcendent, and limitless nature, and revealing his mastery over creation. This shift indicates that God is preparing to fulfill the promises made to the forefathers and is preparing to transform Israel into a people who would carry the knowledge of God's ultimate reality to the world. And this transition signifies that God's ultimate purpose is not only to sustain the world, but to redeem it, breaking through the constraints of nature to fulfill his promises. So now please open up your heart in the very deepest way. What is this name Hashem all about? This is the name that's spelled in Hebrew with the 4 letters Yud, He, Vav, and He, often referred to as the tetragrammaton, a word that comes from the Greek roots tetra, meaning 4, and gramma, meaning letter, thus meaning the 4-letter word, referring specifically to the 4-letter name of God, considered by Torah to be the holiest of God's names. It's the personal name of God, expressing his essence and eternity and relationship with the world, specifically conveying the attributes of kindness and mercy. This word is not to be pronounced as it is written, which is a divine secret alluded to by the verse in Exodus 3, verse 15, that states, "This is my name forever, and this is my remembrance for every generation." In that verse, the word forever, le'olam, was given and written in the Torah without the letter vav, so it can also be read as le'elem, meaning to conceal or to hide. The sages derive from this unusual spelling that God's name is so sacred, it's meant to be concealed and not pronounced as written, except in the Holy Temple. The continuation of the verse, "and this is my remembrance for every generation," is understood to mean that God's name should be remembered and spoken in a way that reflects its sanctity. Thus, in Jewish tradition, this name is never pronounced as it's written. Instead, when recited in the reverential context of actual prayer, it's read as the word Adonai, meaning my master, and in conversation or casual prayer or study, it's referred to reverentially as Hashem, literally the name. It's a tradition that continues to shape Jewish prayer and study and daily life, emphasizing both the sanctity of the divine name and the infinite nature of God. The 4-letter name of Hashem carries profound spiritual and philosophical meanings. It's actually a sort of contraction, a combination of 3 words, Haya, past tense meaning was, Hoveh, present tense meaning is, and Yihiyeh, future tense meaning will be. This reflects God's timelessness and eternal nature, existing outside of time simultaneously in the past, present, and future. Thus, his very name signifies his constancy and unchanging nature, reminding us that he's present in every moment of our lives, across time and space. The name is particularly associated with the ultimate unity of God, as reflected in the Shema Yisrael prayer found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Hear, O Israel, Hashem is our God, Hashem is one. This declaration expresses the foundational belief that God is not only unique, but that his presence unifies all aspects of existence, harmonizing what appears to be fragmented or contradictory. And writing in his classic Guide for the Perplexed, Maimonides explains that the name of Hashem is inimitable because it implies self-existence, and unlike everything else in creation, which depends on external causes for its existence, God simply is. Hashem is the name that is associated with boundless mercy and miracles and embodies God's ability to act not only within the natural order, but also to override it completely. Hashem is the name of the God who is not bound by the constraints of creation. He's the God of miracles, of transformation, and of direct intervention in the world. But on, but on a deeper level of understanding, and open up your heart deeper than ever before, the secret of his name is that he is reality itself. This holy name of Hashem is referred to as the Shem Havaya, which literally means the name of existence. The term is based on a simple rearrangement of the letters of Hashem's name to spell the word Havaya, thereby introducing an extraordinary inner layer of meaning to the name of God, because the word Havaya means existence or reality, informing us that this name of God refers to him not merely as the creator, but as the very essence and sum total of reality itself. All existence flows from and is dependent upon God. He is indeed the essence of reality. The entire cosmos is not separate from him, but is a manifestation of his will and presence. As the sages teach, God is not merely in reality, he is reality. The name Havaya reflects the foundational truth that God is existence itself, and everything else exists only because he wills it to. So Hashem, this name of existence, also conveys the idea of constant creation. The Holy Baal Shem Tov teaches that the name Havaya expresses the idea that God is not only the creator of the world, but that creation is ongoing every moment. God is actually bringing reality into being. As expressed in the verse in Nehemiah chapter 9, you give life to all, in present tense. This is further developed in Hasidic thought, particularly in the teachings of the Tanya, where it is explained that the divine utterances from the beginning of creation continuously sustain existence. Without God's constant involvement, reality would simply cease to exist. Thus, Hashem's name, referred to as the name of Havaya, teaches us that God is intimately involved in every aspect of creation. He's not a distant creator who once upon a time set the world in motion and left it to run its course. Rather, he is the life force within all things, the secret of the verse in Isaiah 6, the whole earth is full of his glory. God is present within even the smallest details of creation. Every moment of existence, every atom, and every event is an expression of Havaya, of divine reality. At the same time, this name of Hashem, the name of Havaya, represents God's transcendence over creation. While God is the essence of reality, he's not limited by it. He's beyond time and space and all the dimensions that define physical existence for us. This paradox, God being both immanent and transcendent, is encapsulated in the name of Hashem, the Shem Havaya. It reflects the unity of all reality, revealing all existence as one. All diversity within creation is ultimately unified in God. The multiplicity that we perceive in the world, like different forms and forces and phenomena, they're all expressions of a single divine reality. There is no separation between creator and creation. All of existence is woven into a seamless divine unity. The name is also understood by the sages as reflecting God's role as the master of time, was, is, and will be. This timelessness reminds us that the unfolding of reality with all its complexities is part of a single divine plan. What appears fragmented or chaotic to us is part of the unified tapestry of divine reality. So really, really, really open your heart deeper than ever before in your life. The timeless nature of this name imparts to us eternal trust, reminding us that God's promises are not bound by time. Redemption may seem delayed, but it is as certain as existence itself. Just as God transcends the boundaries of time and space, so we are called to transcend the limitations of our perceptions about God. Hashem's holy name inspires us to live beyond the constraints of fear and doubt and ego, recognizing that we're part of something far greater than ourselves. Recognizing God as a unifying force in creation can help us to see the unity of all things and to embrace that unity, not just between ourselves and God, but with others and with all of creation. Seeing the God in all things, training ourselves to see God's presence in every aspect of life and understanding that life itself is Hashem, means that there's holiness everywhere. Even mundane activities, when aligned with divine purpose, reveal Hashem as the existence of the world, aiding us in navigating life's complexities and revealing to us that even challenges and hardships are part of a greater divine plan, part of the divine reality, designed to help us grow and fulfill our purpose within this magnificent reality that is existence, that is Hashem himself.